What if I told you that some of the brain scans doctors routinely recommend after age 60 could actually be doing more harm than good when it comes to preventing Alzheimer's disease? You might be shocked to learn that certain imaging procedures that seem beneficial on the surface could potentially increase your risk of cognitive decline, or give you false information that leads to unnecessary worry and wrong treatment decisions. If you're over 60 or approaching that milestone, this video contains crucial information that could save you from making costly mistakes with your brain health. By the time we finish our conversation today, you'll know exactly which 5 brain scans to avoid, why they're potentially dangerous for your cognitive future, and most importantly, what you should be doing instead to truly protect your mind from Alzheimer's disease. But here's what makes this information so powerful. Most doctors won't tell you these facts because they go against conventional medical thinking. I'm going to share research findings that will completely change how you approach brain health screening, and I promise you'll never look at medical recommendations the same way again. Before we dive into these 5 brain scans you should absolutely avoid, let me ask you something that might surprise you. Have you ever wondered why rates of Alzheimer's disease seem to be climbing, even though we have more advanced brain imaging technology than ever before? Or why some people who get regular brain scans still develop severe cognitive problems while others who never step foot in an imaging center maintain crystal clear thinking well into their 90s? The answers to these questions are going to shock you, and they're directly connected to the 5 dangerous brain scans we're about to discuss. Are you ready to challenge everything you thought you knew about brain health screening? The first brain scan you should absolutely skip after 60 is the routine annual CT scan of the brain that many doctors now recommend for early detection of cognitive problems. Now, this might sound counterintuitive because we've been told that early detection is always better, right? But here's what most people don't realize about CT scans. They expose your brain to significant amounts of radiation, and recent studies have shown that repeated radiation exposure to the brain can actually increase your risk of developing the very cognitive problems you're trying to prevent. Think about this for a moment. Would you knowingly expose your brain to something that could potentially damage the very cells you're trying to protect? The radiation from a single brain CT scan is equivalent to about 100 chest X-rays. And when you multiply that by annual scans over many years, you're talking about substantial cumulative exposure. Have you ever had a doctor explain these radiation risks to you before ordering a brain CT scan? The second brain scan you should avoid is the so-called Alzheimer's prevention MRI that some clinics are now marketing directly to consumers. These facilities promise to detect early signs of brain changes that could predict Alzheimer's disease. But what they don't tell you is that many of the changes they identify are completely normal parts of healthy aging and have no connection whatsoever to future cognitive decline. Are you starting to see how these seemingly helpful tests might actually create more problems than they solve? These marketing-driven MRI scans often lead to what doctors call incidental findings. Basically, they spot things that look unusual, but are actually harmless variations in normal brain structure. However, once these findings show up on your medical record, they can trigger a cascade of additional testing, unnecessary worry, and even treatments you don't need. Have you ever considered how much stress and anxiety these false alarms could create in your life? The third brain scan to avoid is the amyloid PET scan, which looks for amyloid plaques in the brain that are associated with Alzheimer's disease. Now, this one might really surprise you because amyloid plaques are indeed found in the brains of people with Alzheimer's. But here's the shocking truth that most doctors won't tell you. About 30% of healthy, cognitively normal older adults also have significant amyloid plaques in their brains. And many of them never develop any symptoms of cognitive decline. So what does this mean for you? It means that finding amyloid plaques on a scan doesn't actually predict whether you'll develop Alzheimer's disease, but it almost certainly will cause you tremendous anxiety and may lead to unnecessary treatments or lifestyle changes based on incomplete information. Have you ever thought about how you would feel if a scan showed amyloid plaques in your brain, even though there's a good chance you'll never develop any cognitive problems? The fourth dangerous brain scan is the tau PT scan, which looks for tau protein tangles, another hallmark of Alzheimer's disease. Similar to amyloid plaques, tau tangles can be found in the brains of many healthy older adults who show no signs of cognitive impairment. But here's what makes tau PET scans particularly problematic. They're extremely expensive, often not covered by insurance, and the results are so difficult to interpret that even experts in the field disagree about what they mean. Are you willing to spend thousands of dollars on a test that might tell you absolutely nothing useful about your cognitive future? The fifth and perhaps most dangerous brain scan to avoid is what's called a comprehensive brain health package, offered by some private imaging centers. These packages typically combine multiple types of scans, CT, MRI, and sometimes PET scans, all in one expensive bundle that promises to give you a complete picture of your brain health. But here's the reality. Combining multiple unnecessary scans doesn't make them more valuable. It just multiplies the potential risks and the likelihood of false positive findings that will send you down a rabbit hole of additional testing and worry. Would you rather spend your time and money on interventions that actually work to prevent cognitive decline, or on expensive scans that might create more problems than they solve? Now, you might be wondering, if these scans aren't the answer, what should you be doing instead to protect your brain from Alzheimer's disease? This is where the conversation gets really exciting, because the most effective strategies for preventing cognitive decline don't involve expensive medical procedures at all. They involve simple lifestyle changes that you can start implementing today. Have you ever considered that the best brain protection might come from what you do every day, rather than what shows up on a medical scan? The most powerful tool for protecting your cognitive function is regular physical exercise. And I'm not talking about extreme workouts or complicated fitness routines. Simple activities like brisk walking for 30 minutes a day have been shown to reduce Alzheimer's risk by up to 45%. Can you imagine getting that level of protection from something as simple as taking a daily walk? Exercise increases blood flow to the brain, promotes the growth of new brain cells, and helps clear away the toxic proteins that contribute to cognitive decline. Compare that to expensive brain scans that might expose you to radiation or create unnecessary anxiety. Which approach makes more sense to you? The second most effective prevention strategy is maintaining strong social connections and engaging in mentally stimulating activities. People who stay socially active and continue learning new things throughout their lives have dramatically lower rates of cognitive decline. Have you thought about what hobbies or social activities you could pursue that would challenge your mind while bringing you joy? The third crucial element is managing your sleep quality, because during deep sleep, your brain literally washes away the toxic proteins that accumulate during the day and contribute to cognitive decline. Are you getting 7 to 8 hours of quality sleep each night? And if not, what changes could you make to improve your sleep habits? Poor sleep is one of the strongest risk factors for developing Alzheimer's disease, yet it's something that's completely within your control to address. Here's something that might really surprise you about the medical industry and brain imaging. Many of the doctors who order these scans receive financial benefits from the imaging centers where the tests are performed, creating a conflict of interest that can influence their recommendations. Additionally, medical facilities have invested millions of dollars in expensive imaging equipment, and they need to use that equipment frequently to justify the cost. Do you think these financial pressures might influence how often brain scans are recommended, even when they're not medically necessary? What step are you going to take today to invest in your brain health? If you've made it all the way to the end of this video, I want to hear from you in the comments. Tell me which of these 5 brain scans surprised you the most, or share your own experience with unnecessary medical testing. Your insights could help other viewers make better decisions about their own healthcare. And if this information has been valuable to you, please hit that like button to help more people discover these important facts about brain health. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel because we're constantly sharing research-based information that can help you take control of your health and aging process. Make sure to watch the next video that's appearing on your screen, where we'll dive deeper into the specific lifestyle strategies that provide the most powerful protection against Alzheimer's disease.